Hi, my name is Stephanie and this is Idle Handmade. So a couple weeks ago I made a video where I talked about all of the hats that I made in October. So today we'll talk about everything I've made since then. I've got a couple finished objects and a couple works in progress. So let's get started with the finished objects. The first thing I finished was this blanket. I picked Halloween colors and I actually finished it on Halloween, so that was pretty cool. However, it is still generic enough that I can use it anytime. I picked Halloween colors, but I didn't make it so obviously Halloween that I couldn't use it for the rest of fall. This was done in Bernat Forever Fleece. I think the colors are Bergamot, Latte, and Coal. I actually started making this a couple of times. The first time I used a 9mm needles like they recommend for the yarn, but I felt like it wasn't really giving enough drape. I switched to 10mm needles, and then I cast on 2 fuse stitches. It just wasn't going across me all the way when I was sitting cross-legged, which apparently I do a lot. So this ended up being 100 stitches on 10mm needles. I did, I think, 6 rows or something like that of garter stitch, and then I did 4 garter stitches at the end of each row, and then the rest of it in stockinette. I've been using this every day since I made it. I really like the texture of this yarn better than most blanket yarns. My next finished object is this sweater. It's the step-by-step sweater by Handmade by Florence, and it was quite a surprise because I'd actually had this body done for months. I finished the body sometime in summer because I stopped working on it to work on a summer knit. So this had just been sitting around with no sleeves for months and months. Once I picked it up again and started on the sleeves, I really just cranked them out. I don't know what happened. Is that considered Sleeve Island or no? This is acrylic. It's a Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn in a print color. I think it's called River Ripple or something like that. I was a little bit down on it when I first finished it, but the more I wear it, the more I like it. I have not woven in all the ends yet, but that's okay. Don't look at that. This was supposed to just be a practice sweater, so I didn't really bother too much with the collar. I did do German short rows, but if I were to do this again, I think I would either start with an Italian cast on or I would do a folded collar. It's just a little square here. I also haven't blocked it. I don't really know what blocking will do for an acrylic. It's also like a pretty good fit to begin with. So once I weave the ends in, I might just chuck it in the washing machine and see what happens. The next finished object is this hat. It's a top down. I started with a Musselburgh and then I was like, oh, this yarn's gonna be way too thick once I get like 4 layers on the brim. So I started doing 1x1 ribbing. The yarn is Big Twist Punch Bowl, and I really like how it turned out. My husband called it Funfetti, so I don't know if he realized these are Christmas colors or not, but that means you could probably get away with wearing it outside the Christmas season. I made this in like a mad dash because I realized that I wanted to give my mom and my stepdad Christmas hats on Thanksgiving so they could wear them for the Christmas season, not just on Christmas Day. So I definitely need to wash this one because I have cats and my mom's allergic, so we'll see how that turns out. Even though I try to pick yarn that is machine washable, I haven't put anything in there yet. It makes me very nervous. I have to take this sweater off, it's so hot in here. And my last mostly finished object is this scarf. And I say mostly finished because it's curling up like this, so I still do need to block it. And I'm probably going to add some fringe, but the main part's done. So this scarf is crochet. It's done in a corner to corner moss stitch. And I use this color changing yarn that I think makes a really cool effect. This one also is Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn and it's called Citrus Punch, I think, which is a weird name. It should be called like cinnamon cloves or something. I like the combination of the color changing yarn and the moss stitch. I think it creates this really cool effect. It almost looks holographic or something, at least close up. I was making this as a Christmas gift, but I really like it, so I'll probably remake myself some version of this. Now let's move on to whips. I don't know if you guys on YouTube have seen this, but I'm working on the Sirdar Crochet Along blanket. This was all over TikTok and I was really excited to get started. I loved week 1. Like, I was so happy making this. I can't even explain to you how much joy this piece individually brought me. And then it was time for the jumper panels. And these almost sent me over the edge because you have to start with a chain 100 and apparently I can't count to 100. It's kind of crazy how many times I messed that up. I actually did all of my panels in dark green. I saw someone do a mock-up of this on the Facebook group for the Crochet Along, and I liked how the dark green panels looked with, I think all of the peppermints were red. I have a screenshot of it, so hopefully I can find that somewhere. And I think just having 2 panels of different color would have helped with my sort of boredom. This really felt like a slog, and it's because every time I made progress, I had the exact same panel to make again. Making 4 of the exact same panels, I I felt like I wasn't making any progress. So I took a break from the crochet along. So I started making myself a Christmas sweater. This is 2 worsted weight yarns held together, done on an 8mm needle. And this is only 3 days of work, so it was going by super fast. The only thing left I have on the body is the ribbing, and then I can start the sleeves. I started this project mid-November because I thought I was gonna have to frog more, but it's really turning out very fine. So I think if I focus, I can have this done in a couple days. My other knitting project is this Musselburgh hat. I've been making hats all year, and I was just going to like put them in a pile and tell my family to pick which ones they like, but I realized I don't have any boy colored hats. So I started making this one with one of my nephews in mind. Unfortunately, when I started to decrease and I had to put them on double pointed needles, I realized that my sections aren't even anymore, so I messed up somewhere in the decreases. So this is on hold until I can find the will to frog some of this. So technically I have a lot of other stuff that's still like in the middle of being made, but the last thing that I'm working on currently is a crochet beanie. I made this one a couple months ago, and I just recently found this yarn again, and so I'm making another one. I needed something mindless to work on last night while I was watching TV, so I started this up. There's cat hair on it already. This is just a standard crochet beanie. I have a tutorial on my page for the pumpkin crochet beanie. That's the same idea, just with Christmas yarn. Half double crochets and then 5 single crochets and 5 slip stitches. I'm not really in any hurry to finish this, but it's going by really quickly, so there's that. I really can't get over how this white is like an optical illusion. This one I did a lot more chains, so the pattern looks a little bit more random. You probably won't be able to tell once the brim is folded, but this is kind of trippy. So that's all my updates for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! So I might, once I weave the went. This is made with a Hobby Lobby